Hi, this is Brandon with Bulldog Rooter. What we're looking at right now, or what we're going to inspect here in a second, is the main sewer line for 1004 West 18th Avenue here in Spokane, Washington. I was out here a couple days ago, tried to cable this line open. Couldn't get it to pop at all, tried to put my camera out there, couldn't push past about 95 feet. So we came back today. Today is April 8th, Saturday, about 1:30 in the afternoon, to commercially jet this line open. I'm out here with David Lane. So we're going to start pulling back. Right now we're looking into the actual Spokane City sewer right now, where it hubs in with this line we're about to take a look at. So this looks like clay tile is what it hubs into. You can see a little separation there, a little bit of debris stuck in the bottom there. This cast iron line, this is all cast iron, with the exception of this little bit of clay tile right here. So yeah, and then we are in clay tile still. As you can see, it has a little bit of chips on the bottom there. Nothing too crazy at all, really. Pulling back. See a little bit more chips. It looks like a little bit of a stair step down, or rather to the side almost a little bit at that little seam right there, as you can see to the bottom left hand corner of your screen. To give you a little bit of perspective, the bottom of the pipe will always be where my camera light is, and or where flowing water is as well. Pull back a little bit. The sewer line itself is 122 feet and a few inches. Right here, and looking around in the street with the homeowner a little bit, looks like at some point this line was, this spot right here, rather not the line, but this spot was tore up and had some repairs done to it. That looks like concrete. You know, what they could have been doing is they could have been trying to seal something a little bit better and over poured there. And they kind of made a little stair-stepping separation. What I mean by it stair-stepping up and down is you can see it either separates upwards or downwards. This one is upwards, kind of creating that separation. You can see how water kind of has to flow over it a little bit. It could get, you know, a chance to get debris stuck there. It's kind of unlikely that that would cause a backup, just to kind of pull back a little bit to kind of give you a perspective of how much of the pipe. I mean, it's not even covering 5% of the pipe, so you really shouldn't have to worry about that too much at all. The little white gases you're seeing, that's going to be sewer gas or methane gas. There's a little bit of the chip tile. A couple little roots there. Keep pulling back. We're at about 110 feet right now. A little bit of a separation and a root intrusion there. As you can see, we cleaned that up pretty well. So all we really used for this job was it's called commercial jetter. You can run anywhere between about 1,000 psi and about 4,000 psi. So, and then we had a variety of different tips we can use. So as you can imagine, that gets things relatively pretty darn clean. Now right here, this is used to be a pretty big root intrusion. As you can tell by the diameter of the roots, those have been in there a long time. We worked this spot about 3 or 4 times. This is the best that we can get it, especially pulling back here a little bit. As you can see kind of to the kind of right hand side of your screen, those little cracks there, those are called stress fractures. Now, we didn't really want to work this spot too hard at too high of a pressure, just because we don't want to, you know, potentially put bigger cracks in it, you know, potentially collapse the line if we stayed there for too long, those kind of things. But yeah, those roots were some pretty big ones. As you can see, there's stress fractures on the bottom of the pipe and on the sides mainly. But as far as that root intrusion goes, I can't see it causing a blockage at this time anyways, just because you know, we've cleared most of them out, and it looks to be kind of more on the side of the pipe rather than the bottom of the pipe. So pull back a little bit more, and then here's a really good picture of those stress fractures as well, which is all those little white cracks there. And it looks like we might be pulling back into the cast iron. Nope, not quite yet. Alrighty. Keep pulling back. Seam looks really clean. Pulling back, clean. And right here, we have a little bit more of a root intrusion. Now, as you can see, that's pretty decent sized. We hit this spot about, I would say, anywhere from 7 to 10 times, ranging our pressures, you know, from all the way up to our highest pressure to, you know, about 2,600 psi. That's a pretty large one. We definitely knocked a lot of it down. It covers about a third of the pipe. Looks like it's more so on the top of the pipe rather than on the bottom, so it really shouldn't cause a blockage. But those roots are really thick, as you can see. The ones you kind of want to worry about more so than the big ones are the littler ones that grow into each other, kind of making a concept of a fence almost. It acts more of a filter and catches, you know, your solids and toilet paper and that kind of thing. So, like I said, right now it's not anything to worry about. It's definitely open and flowing good right now, but I just wanted to point that out to you, that those are some of the things we ran into in this pipe. Pulling back some more. And it looks like we are now in the cast iron pipe. Ran cast iron everywhere on the property out to about right here. We're at about 96 feet. As you can see, it does look a little rusted. I said it was put in about 1917, so 100 years old even. For a 100-year-old pipe, this looks fantastic. I'm going to kind of pull back a little bit. A lot of this pipe in this area is very good looking. You know, that black stuff is just sludge build up a little bit. Absolutely no concern about it whatsoever. You know, it looks great. You know, you can't see really any stress fractures. The seams look really good as well. It's not, you know, it's not terribly rusty. It looks like, you know, the perfect version of a 100-year-old cast iron pipe. So I'm going to continue pulling back here. And to kind of go back to those separations in that clay tile pipe, clay tile was laid in 2 to 5 foot sections. Now over time, I believe the repair was done in the early 90s, which is when they would have put that clay tile in. Basically what happens is it settles in the ground over time, causing those separations or those stair steps that I was talking to you about. So yeah, that's kind of where the roots get their you know, their access into the line, so to speak, and that's kind of why that happens. So, and right here we're at 67 feet. This is pretty much the only problem I could find with this cast iron pipe. As we continue to pull back, you can see we're holding some water right here. And to give you a little bit more of a perspective, my camera lens is about 1.5 inches in diameter, so we're at least in 1.5 inches of water right here. What this is it's a belly. Otherwise known as a grade issue. It's where water actually has to drain uphill to get downhill. As you can imagine, you know, solids and stuff could build up in here. When we were doing this video inspection, you know, pushing out and everything, even before we started jetting, I didn't see any solids, debris, and stuff like that in there, so it was definitely good. So now we're at 57 feet, you know, still holding a little bit of water. So that kind of gives you, you know, about a 10-foot belly, roughly. That's, you know, a pretty decent sized one. Like I said, it has to drain uphill to get downhill. Now, solids aren't going to drain as frequent or as efficiently as water is. So, as you can imagine, sometimes solids get stuck in there. One way to help this is to, you know, flush twice, get a big push of water out to kind of help push the solids uphill and back to decent grade where it can flow out normally. And back here, you see a little bit of rust debris. That's nothing too crazy. Pulling back, we're at about 50 feet right here. Again, this cast iron looks very well. Doesn't look like it was, you know, really abused with Drano or anything like that. You know, it's not ovalizing, it's not, you know, cracked everywhere, it doesn't have a ton of rust debris in the bottom. At about 40 feet now. So you can kind of see on the left-hand side of the screen the swirl marks. That would be from my cable a couple days ago. We could only get the cable out about 95 feet, and then we could only get the camera out about, I think we got it out to about 87, and that's just kind of because there were a few bends in the pipe that prevented us, you know, it's kind of hard to push against a cast iron pipe. But yeah, once we got the jetter out here, we could kind of propel it with water a little bit to help get the camera all the way out to the sewer. So yeah, and again, this looks really well. Other than that little belly that we had that I was just talking about, this is a, you know, virtually perfect cast iron part of the line, which a majority of it is. I mean, we had about that 20-25 foot section of clay tile with the roots in it, and it's right about 15 feet now. We should be heading up to the clean out here before too long, and I'll give you a picture of that as well once we pop out. And then to your right, it looks like something tying in, could possibly be a toilet. So yeah, that's what that is. Pulling back a little bit more, we're at about 10 feet. I can kind of hear us coming up the clean out a little bit. And here is the clean out in which we are working out of. Right there. And this was Brandon Redler and David Lane with Bulldog Rooter, and that was your video inspection for the address 1004 West 18th Avenue. Thank you for choosing Bulldog Rooter.